Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I'm
So-
excited.
So to start out with, tell me your name, your company, and your position there.
My name is Karen Cooper. I own and have co-founded CannaSiteCo with my business partner, Reagan Hatch, and I handle the creative side. I'm the creative director, and she handles business development.
Gotcha. And what does CannaSiteCo do?
We are a digital marketing company. We specialize in websites first and foremost, and then SEO to support it, as well as email marketing and some reputation management. We used to dabble in social and ads and other things of that nature, but have recently decided to focus on what we really love.
I understand that. I pivoted away from social media about a year ago because I did not love it.
It's not an easy job. It's a busy job.
Yeah, you are constantly on.
Right.
So what brought you to starting CannaSiteCo with Reagan?
Well, we moved to Washington in 2017, my family and I, and recreational cannabis had been legal in the state for 5 years already. And I was at a crossroads, having just left a digital marketing agency. And I connected with a cannabis farm out here that needed some marketing help. The owner and farmer was telling a story about cannabis grown under the sun, using light deprivation and no pesticides and conserving energy and using plentiful natural resources. And I just loved that story and wanted to help tell it. And so it was through that position that I met other farmers and cannabis businesses and owners, and had found kind of my people, if you will, the industry. And I attended my first CannaCon. And so all of those things kind of happened around the same time. I was so impressed by the number of attendees and exhibitors, how professional the industry was. And at the same time, working with the farmer, I realized how limited shelf space is in a mature market, especially. And so I felt like these brands, these businesses, these farmers needed help telling their story. And so having the digital marketing background, I decided to apply that to this industry. At the same time, Reagan, who we went to college together, good friends from college, had recently reconnected, and she was also at a crossroads. And I knew I didn't want to go alone again, having been a solopreneur for many years in the past. And so decided to shoot my idea at her and see if she would go for it. And she did. And here we are.
Here you are several years later.
Yes. So that was 2018 that we started.
Nice. So you've been in this industry for a while now.
Yeah, it feels like a long time, but it's also gone by really fast. These, few years, 3 years, almost 4 years.
I've heard working in the cannabis industry described as dog years before.
Interesting. I like that.
So prior to starting your business, what was your journey with cannabis like?
Well, I grew up in Florida. So, of course, it was illegal, as it was everywhere back then. And it was, kind of controversial, but it was also kind of cool and transgressive. And then I went to college and found more of my people that also enjoyed cannabis. And so it's just been, I don't know, I guess it's been a part of my life for quite a while. I find myself inspired by the medicinal benefits, of course, and don't like the negative stigma that it has gotten for so long. And so I decided, along with other reasons, I decided we wanted to move to Washington because I didn't want to live in a place anymore where it was illegal, or worse, where people were being punished for possession or use. And so here we are.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. As an adult, if you're able to go somewhere where it's embraced, when where you live it's not embraced, why wouldn't you make that move?
Right. And I think that there are so many benefits, not just in the plant, but also in the revenue generated for states that are legalized. So I think it's kind of a bold statement maybe, but social programs tend to be stronger in some of those places.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember reading some statistics like a year after Colorado had legalized cannabis, and what they put their tax revenue to was, I believe if I remember correctly, it was back into their schools and into their homelessness programs. And they saw these giant leaps and bounds in their metrics of success because of the money they were able to put towards it.
Right? There's
Yeah.
so much that could be done with it. So
Yeah.
much.
I remember reading that. I was like, wow, every state should put their money towards that.
Or infrastructure, or, you know, the environment. There's so many things. There's so many things.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you've been in the industry for a couple of years now, you've been able to watch it change and evolve. What's something you're really excited to see right now?
For me, and a basis of our business has been women empowerment, women in ownership and executive roles. Though there aren't nearly enough, there are more women in leadership roles in cannabis than most other industries that I can think of. I think it's a friendlier and more supportive industry for women than most. We are proud to be an all-female owned and operated company. We support other women-owned businesses and women organizations, and we appreciate the support we receive from our male partners as well. Most recently, one of our clients is Sea Vault, and they did a Women in Cannabis series on Instagram to highlight women leaders, and we were proud to participate in that and support their effort. And so I just would like to see more and more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that from some people that I talk to, that it's great to see there are more women in cannabis, but it's not something we can really let up the gas pedal on yet. You know, it's not
Right.
a done deal. We can't get complacent.
Right. Right. And we're proud to participate in a lot of organizations that are really focusing on that. And it's always awesome too. We exhibit with CannaCon and other trade shows quite a bit. And it's really awesome to connect with the women at those shows and branch, you know, our network across the country so that we can, you know, support and help each other.
Yeah. I was talking to a woman, I think it was last week, who said working in cannabis helped her when the pandemic hit, because she had already been working from home, supporting her kids during the day. And then everybody just kind of shifted to her schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge part of how we survived that time. I mean, we're a remote company, and have flexible schedules, and are proud to support women and their goals and dreams as well.
Yeah. So on the opposite end of the spectrum of that, as you've watched this industry for the past couple of years, do you see a trend that you're not excited about, that you would really wish we would get away from?
Oh, sure. For me, mostly, we need to get people convicted of nonviolent cannabis charges out of jail. And we need to get the convictions expunged or sealed, depending on the state laws. I read quite a bit of cannabis news, and so it's great to see that a lot of states like California or Illinois or New Jersey are expunging thousands of records. I know New York and a number of states, I think California is one of them as well, that are automatically expunging records, which is awesome, but we need to do more and faster. And we need to communicate it to the thousands of people who are affected. I know some states require you to petition to get it expunged. I believe Arizona is one of those. And so we need to do more to help people get that going, and to even notify them that the possibility is there. And I would like to see the industry help lead those efforts. The more responsible cannabis businesses contribute to efforts to free the unjustly incarcerated and expunge records and educate.
Yeah, definitely. It is a travesty that there are so many people making millions of dollars off of this while thousands of people sit in jail. It's
Yes.
It's a horrible paradox.
It's so awful. It's so awful. And I'm so glad we're doing what we are, but there are a lot of organizations out there that are dedicated to that. And so whether it's supporting them through social media, promoting, even if you can't necessarily donate financially, I think there are a lot of ways to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't donate money, donate time. And if you can't donate time, donate awareness.
Exactly.
There's always something you can give. Yeah, that is a phenomenal point. That is something that's kind of stagnated as the industry has started to move forward.
I mean, I am reading lots of articles about it. I know it's happening. But like I said, not fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So as you've run your business for the past couple of years, what is the biggest challenge you and your team have overcome?
Well, Washington State was hit hard with COVID in the beginning, and quickly, and then, the world. And at the same time, Reagan and I, we were only in year 2 of our business. Apologies for the text messages. And so we were trying to keep our families safe. We were trying to keep our clients happy and keep our company running and employees employed. Clients were forced to scale back their marketing, which affected us, of course. And our company was facing issues like, how are we going to make payroll, in 2 months from now, if things are, halting. So we were able to tap into the payroll protection like a lot of companies were, which was awesome. And take that time, slow time or downtime, if you will, to refine our services and our systems, which is always beneficial. And so we were able to keep our team employed throughout. And I think we're a better company now than we were 2 years ago, with, fast and effective services. I lost my train of thought.
Well, that is no small feat, keeping everyone on your team employed during the pandemic.
Yes, it was tough. Well, and everyone thought, oh, that was my point. Interestingly, for us being a digital marketing agency, while we, quickly went downhill, we very quickly also went back uphill because businesses needed to be online. We were all quarantined. And so how are businesses going to operate? So a lot more people had to get online quickly, which we believe you should be online anyway. But that helped. That did help as people had to kind of pivot to keep their businesses running as well. And so we were glad to have the ability to support them.
Yeah, definitely. It stopped being something that was like, well, this is the best practice, but you should have it too. We absolutely need this right at this moment and probably should have had it a year ago.
Probably. But let's do it now. Now is better than never. Let's do it.
Yes, it is. And it's still important to be online even as we go back in person, because we could go back online again.
Very much. Very much. I agree. I think everyone should be online.
Agreed. And I will personally get in your corner that a website is an incredibly important piece of being online, because you don't own your social media channels.
Exactly. This is what we always say. Your website is your digital headquarters, because everything you're doing comes back to your website, whether you're sharing on social or you're sending out an email. And like you said, those social platforms you don't own, and as we saw recently, could shut down at any point. And if you're 100% in Facebook or 100% in Instagram or something else, that could help business.
Yeah.
So
you don't want them to have
great to invest. Yes, it's great to invest in your own space online, your own little house online, if you will. Yeah. And so that you're always available. And if things go wrong elsewhere, you're covered.
Yes. And also in the cannabis industry, you also run the risk of just getting kicked off Instagram because they've decided your content is a violation.
Exactly. And also cannabis businesses have less freedom with advertising.
Yes.
And so your website really, in my opinion, your website should be your focus as a cannabis business, minimally. Of course, if you're a brick and mortar, you have that too, but you should have a website. Yes. Certainly.
That is your little corner of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So in your journey as a business owner, what's been something that you are really proud of yourself for accomplishing?
I had to ask my partner, like, hey, what are we really proud of? I don't brag a whole lot. But I think that we decided we wanted to share really that We sponsor a number of really great nonprofits. We have donated websites to a number of wonderful causes. We're very involved with the Women Empowered in Cannabis and Lady Jane Society. We sponsored the Women in Cannabis study recently. I think it was a year or so ago now. We donated a website to the Women of Cannabis Conference scholarship recipient, who has been really awesome to work with. She's a cannabis artist. We support and sponsor the Cannabis Alliance here in Washington State. And then we have also gotten involved in a number of organizations, both with CannaSite, and we also have a sister brand for non-cannabis businesses, some for states that are that aren't legal yet and are afraid. But we have supported like Family Promise and Room Redux, and we donate websites to organizations, silent auctions, to help them raise funds. So we're trying to give back in as many ways as we can, with helping people get their message out, tell their story.
That's phenomenal. That's putting your money where your mouth is.
Yes, we're proud of it. We are.
I mean, there's a lot on that list to be proud of. That is awesome. That's a lot of involvement.
Thank you. We try. We do try. And there's always room for improvement, but we do try.
Yeah. And there's room for acknowledgement too.
Thanks. Thank you.
So when you work with your clients and they're coming to you for advice on their website and their SEO, what do you want them to take away from an experience with you and your team?
We are a no BS team. We are straight shooters, if you will. We are transparent with our pricing. We are responsive, both in the speed in which we build websites and in our customer service with our clients, communication. We are fast. We are just very fast, which is awesome, because when we entered the market, we kind of came in with a $500 website that we're going to build you in a week. We really wanted to connect with startups and entrepreneurs, which the space is filled with, and they don't all have marketing budgets, and they don't all have 6 months to wait. And so without upsetting my other digital agency friends, we wanted to show that it didn't have to cost you tens of thousands of dollars and take months to have a website. And so we want to have a fun experience when you work with us. We want to impress people with our design and our speed. And yeah, we want you to get online and tell your story.
Get online and tell your story. Absolutely. As you've worked with a lot of businesses over the years, for people who are just coming into this space, just starting out, just looking at their websites, what's one tip you'd give to them in the early stages of their journey?
I usually tell people to do what you're good at in cannabis. When we go to trade shows, we meet so many people, especially in new markets, that I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm thinking about growing. Well, have you grown before? No, no, not necessarily. And so everybody kind of wants to jump in as a grower. And I like to tell people, what do you do now? And how can you apply that to cannabis? You don't have to be a grower. You can build websites. You can be a lawyer. You can be an accountant. You can have traditional type roles and fill that need in this industry.
Is a phenomenal point. You don't have to work at a dispensary. You don't have to grow cannabis. You don't have to package it to be a part of this industry.
Right. I mean, you can do those things if that's your passion, certainly. But we meet lots of people that don't know the first thing about growing cannabis and want to start a business. And I applaud that as well. But if you already have an amazing skill, how can you use that in this industry?
Set yourself up.
Because we need all the other ancillary businesses too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Set yourself up for success. So what is next for you and your team?
Well, we are in a little bit of a growing phase. We just hired a new employee, which is always exciting. We are such a small team that it's a big impact when you have a new employee. We also, or I should say team member. We also recently refined our build process, and we're launching that. In fact, we just essentially launched that. So that's very exciting. And then we're going to kind of go through each of our other services and refine them and improve them and keep growing.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on the growth phase.
Thank you. Thank you. It is exciting.
Yeah, especially as a business owner, very gratifying to see tangible growth that you can't write off.
Right.
So this has been phenomenal. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I have one last question for you today.
Oh, sure.
What is your favorite fun fact about cannabis?
Oh, it's so funny. Because I'm like, what are fun facts? Doesn't everybody know everything about cannabis? It's like everybody knows about cannabinoids and terpenes. And so what's a fun fact that everyone doesn't know? And I came across that the rumor has it that the first thing that was bought and sold on the internet was a bag of cannabis.
Really?
Between college students. And I can't remember now. I think it was Stanford and MIT. Sold one way or the other, sold a bag of cannabis, which I thought was so funny in our line of work. And I feel like I'm going to start telling everyone about that.
That is a fun fact. College kids.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been great getting to know you and your business a little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.